Okay, I want to talk about tax because I was fascinated, apart from the Taylor Swift poll information that was out there today, about a little reminder, and it is a reminder to the political class in all of its forms, which is that the majority of Australians have heard, apparently, very little or know nothing at all about the tax cut situation. So all of the broken promise conversation, all of the this is the solution to cost of living, which was the briefing to the backbenchers, again, the polling, can we whack it up on the screen here, showing that, the best part of 53% of people saying that they know little or nothing about the tax. 13% of people know nothing at all. 40% of people know hardly nothing. Now, what's also interesting here is that the same polling turns around and says about creating a fairer tax system. 41% of people basically say there's no difference. Keeping taxes low, 43% of people say there's no difference. And use the money from taxes effectively, 41% of people say there's no difference. So I just get to a little political question here, which is if we believe the Laura Tingles of this world, genius move, sold, everyone loves it, right? I've always argued that once they actually turn up on July the 1st, people will either not notice or will notice that $14 a week is a little too late, Holly.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you know, they might not know about these tax cuts, and by the time we get to an election, you're exactly right, the cost of living pressures will not have been ameliorated by $14 a week. But look, maybe cat out of the bag here. I don't think anyone's going to be second guessing it terribly much. We have the Prime Minister on over 100 occasions saying that he was not going to change stage 3 tax cuts. My word is my bond. You don't think that's the ad campaign with every broken promise this bloke's delivered? The $275 coming off your power bill, there'll be no changes to superannuation. And just, don't hold your breath, guys. Negative gearing, it's coming next.
So Stephen,
they might not care about the tax cut by the election, but they'll care about the broken promises because you cannot believe a word this bloke says.
But again, Stephen, for those of us that are, counting the grains of sand on the beach like we do in this conversation, or the people in the bubble that are trying to tell you that, it's not as many as you think, or it's not really a beach, it's really a rainforest. Good little reminder, right? The vast majority of people, for obvious reasons, are busy and doing something else, right? It's not because they're dumb, but even when there's as much noise and as much coverage, even non-contentious, like sales job coverage, if half the country's got no idea, then I think the people inside the Labor Party who think we've won this one might need to just realise they're going to actually have to prosecute this a little harder than just winning over the gallery that was already cheering them on.
Yeah. No, look, I would expand the Canberra bubble to include the Sydney media and Canberra politicians bubble. Yep. Okay, no, so we call it in Hollywood.
The Victorian bubble.
It's called, well, that's because the media's run out of Sydney.
Well, that's because they call it the
vomit principle.
The vomit principle, yes. You keep going until people go, yeah, correct.
It takes about 12 months of saying something over and over again until you're ready to vomit when you hear it again. It's just about then that the average Australian begins to register it. Now, some big issues can cut through. Holding the hose can cut through. But in general, it's why I think I said last week, the poll that we talked about, Paul, doesn't really matter because I don't think it factors in a full knowledge.
Correct.
And what the Guardian poll today said, correct. Most people still don't really know. Just because we talk about it, and Paul, you hammer issues and themes over and over again because you've got to keep reminding people 100%. Before it becomes part of in the back of their mind. They can feel it in the back of their mind. So I
message
think the poll
discipline, my friend.
Today showed nothing new.
I know
message
the principle, Stephen.
Hence why, Holly, too
I
little,
understand
too
the
late.
Political principle,
too little, too late.
But what I think
little,
people will
late.
remember is the lightness of their back pocket. No, but people, they might not hear it, they might not remember it. And Stephen, I know the principle you're talking about. When we're sick of saying it, people are just starting to listen. Right. But what people will know, if they're not listening, that their wallet's a lot lighter, that their standard
100%.
of living has significantly declined, that their mortgage is more expensive, their groceries is more
but
expensive, their
you're putting
insurance
the
is more
cart
expensive,
in
their
front of
energy's
the
more
horse.
All right.
expensive.
You're putting the
Well, no, but
You're putting
they
the
may
cart
not,
in
but they
front
know
of the
what
horse.
I wanna
Netflix
get to,
and not
because
the
they
news,
already
but they know
know.
what they can pay for.
Because we are a national show and there is a state that's about to have an election. We don't know what the date will be, presumably announced tomorrow. The Rockliff government, which is a minority government and has been teetering for some time, well, the Liberals there have decided, bugger it, we're going to go off and have another election. Now, for Labor, they, of course, think, oh, well, you know, we're going to win because this thing's been a bit of a mess. The problem is it's the same opposition leader who's been rejected twice with policies that were rejected twice that's now going to turn around and pretend, oh, they don't count anymore. But so we'll see how this goes. But of course, Tasmania has been kinder to the Liberal Party of recent years than the mainland has been. They've won majorities twice. They've lost those majorities twice through a whole bunch of internal ups and downs. So, Stephen, are we about to go all red everywhere, or, as what I've just mentioned, is perhaps the reason why not?
Look, I'm obviously hopeful that Labor can go the clean sweep, but in an act, I think it will apply in this election. I'm not absolutely sure, but I think it will apply. They have expanded the parliament. They have actually, to use the phrase, they have reduced the quota. This means, for instance, Jacqui Lambie's party could win a couple of seats. The Greens will win more seats. So I think this was an act of political self-harm that they decided to expand the parliament, reducing the quota, creating an almost Senate style. You can have 10 crazies on the cross bench.
Yeah.
So I don't think either party's primary vote, you know, to win a majority, your primary vote's normally got to be in the high 40s in that style of electoral system. Bearing again, it's a different system to the rest of the country for the lower house. So you've got a situation where I suspect neither party will have a majority, and then it's going to come down to who gets elected in the crossbenches and who are they willing to support. And it's just too soon to make a call on that.